lots of talk about Joe Flacco to Denver Broncos and the decision by the Baltimore Ravens to basically, it appears, free up everything so that you have a situation where Lamar Jackson is the quarterback of the future. One of the things that I love to do in the world of sports or anything else is when you find something that works. Usually, the younger guys, you're looking for somebody else who resembles them. In other words, I always like to think about things in athletics and also in life in general with the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. And to me, when I break down Joe Flacco, we kind of know what the best case scenario is, right? He could be a top 10 caliber quarterback if everything goes well with him. I don't think there's any doubt. Now, he's 30, just turned 35. So in theory, he's got 3 or 4 more years of really good performance before all is said and done with Joe Flacco, in theory, at the quarterback position. Now, I'm going to get to Elway's decision in a minute. But more intriguingly, I like to think about what is the overall positivity out there that is hanging around with Lamar Jackson. And in particular, the thing that I would focus on is this question. Who does Lamar Jackson remind you of that has been, and we talked about this on the radio show this morning, that has been a highly successful quarterback at any point in his life? Okay? Who does he remind you of? I don't know at all who a successful quarterback that is like Lamar Jackson has ever existed. To me, Lamar Jackson is Tim Tebow 2.0. He is Vince Young 2.0. He is RG3 2.0. Everything is about finding a model and trying to project this guy in. All 3 of those guys, Tebow, VY, and RG3, had immediate success and then fell apart when defenses actually realized they could stop them from running and that they weren't threats in the passing game. So, to me, the Ravens are about to go through the Vince Young experience 2.0. I lived this. I bought into the hype. When Vince Young started for the Tennessee Titans and he won in a walk-off 40-yard sprint against the Houston Texans, we all thought Vince Young was going to be a game-changing quarterback, the kind of guy that altered forever the trajectory of the quarterback position in the NFL. That was the argument you had to buy into. That was the argument you had to support if you believed in him, okay? I don't see it at all from Lamar Jackson. Now, if you believe that at some point in time an NFL quarterback is going to arise and he is going to eliminate the existing paradigm that occurs for quarterbacks, then maybe you can go out there and argue that Lamar Jackson is going to be a difference maker. Here's the problem with that in general. We haven't seen it in 20 years. We haven't seen it in 25 years. Ultimately, the NFL is a quarterback-driven league, and it's a quarterback-driven passing league. You need somebody who can drop back on 3rd and 8 when everybody knows that a guy is going to pass, and you need somebody who can convert 3rd and 8. And ultimately, that has to be a passing quarterback. Tim Tebow couldn't do it enough. Vince Young couldn't do it enough. RG3 couldn't do it enough. And I don't believe that Lamar Jackson will be able to do it enough either. Now, if you want to accept and make the argument that Lamar Jackson is a paradigm shifter, that he is a game changer of such epic proportions, you can make that argument as well. Okay? You can make the argument that, you know what, this guy is going to change the way the game is going to be played. Most of the time that doesn't happen, and nobody's actually done it in 25 years. Nobody has ever evolved and changed the way the NFL is played in 25 years. Ultimately, it's a passer league. And so, unless you want to argue that Lamar Jackson is de novo, that there's never been anybody like him before, and he is going to be able to change the league forever, this is, I think, a really bad move by the Baltimore Ravens to hand over the franchise to Lamar Jackson. Sometimes there are game-changing, unbelievable talents. I'll give you an example. Whether you love or hate LeBron James, he is basically Karl Malone's body except with a point guard's ability. When LeBron came into the league, he was Karl Malone already almost, and certainly he's grown into Karl Malone, except with the ability to play point guard. We've never seen anybody with LeBron James's combination of size and ability. Maybe Zion Williamson is going to be the next iteration of this. But so far, I don't believe, somebody said it's Carl Stockton. It's a good combination of Karl Malone and John Stockton. Nobody else has had LeBron James's physicality. Some people are dumb. They're like Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson wasn't a great athlete. Magic Johnson was 6'9". He was big and he could handle the basketball, but Magic Johnson could barely jump in comparison to other top athletes. Nobody has ever been like LeBron James. Michael Vick, a lot of people want to make an argument about Michael Vick. I think Michael Vick is a superior version of Lamar Jackson, but Michael Vick won 2 playoff games in his career, never really changed the game at all, honestly. Maybe if he had put in the same time that other quarterbacks would have in the film room, he could have changed the way that the game was played. He didn't do it. And so as a result, I don't buy into Lamar Jackson. I would rather have Joe Flacco for the next 3 years than I would Lamar Jackson. It doesn't mean that I believe Joe Flacco is going to be a tremendous success, nor do I believe John Elway has done a good job managing the quarterback situation for the Denver Broncos. When you think about drafting Brock Osweiler, when you think about making the decision to go get Paxton Lynch, when you think about going to sign Case Keenum, other than persuading an already Hall of Fame quarterback in Peyton Manning to sign with the Broncos, everything that John Elway has done is a little bit of a disaster. If I were the Ravens, and you never see this happen, but if I were the Ravens, I would draft another quarterback in the first round this year. I think the Broncos probably will draft another quarterback in the first round. I don't know exactly whether I wouldn't trade up, but if you got Dwayne Haskins out there, if you've got Drew Lock, if you've got Daniel Jones, a guy from Duke who I'm not an expert on, if you've got Kyler Murray and you may make an opportunity to get there, or potentially Will Grier, I would get another quarterback to back up Lamar Jackson, because I think Lamar Jackson's going to be a disaster this year with the NFL defenses having an entire offseason to get ready for him. I think you're going to see a lot of performances like we saw by the Chargers in the postseason. And I think Lamar Jackson ultimately is going to fall apart. So we will see what ends up happening there. I like the Bronco move better than I do the Ravens move. I don't like either of these moves. And I don't think either one of these teams is going to be highly successful. But if I had to pick a guy between these two, I'd rather have Joe Flacco as the quarterback of my team for the next 3 years. I think the Ravens are going to fall apart. I think if you watch these games, and look, I'm a Lamar Jackson guy. I bet a lot on Louisville over the years. I loved watching him play. He's a one-read-and-run guy, and that doesn't work in the NFL. Ultimately, the NFL is all about third down passing. You have to make big-time plays when everybody knows you're going to throw. That's what the Chargers were able to do. Sooner or later, they stop you from being able to run, and you have to be able to make big-time throws in big-time situations. The NFL really is a third-down passing league. That's all I need. That's all I need to see when I rate quarterbacks. How do they do on third and long when you have to be able to throw the ball to convert a pass? That's all I care about.